it is time for reacts. And the first one is one that you guys have been pestering me about for days now, I think. And it's titled System Failure. It's from Golgot. He's the guy who puts all the clips together of, basically CIG saying a bunch of silly things in the past and us laughing about it. So who's ready to laugh about the 100 solar systems in Star Citizen meme, which I'm kind of curious how this is going to go. Obviously, there was a point in which the game changed, which a lot of people know as the moment we went from like cutscenes to land to big procedural, like fully explorable planets. It makes 100 star systems seem a lot less likely. And I know I've personally been looking for the clip where Chris basically says, yeah, we'll probably release with 5 systems. And I have never been able to find it again. I wonder if it's in this. But yeah, it is nice to look back at all the crazy things they say and sort of remind yourself who you're dealing with here. So this is a good trip down, I guess, memory lane for that. Let me just double check. The audio is working, which it is. So here we are. System failure from Golgot.
The system that they've jumped into will get named after that player. So like that player becomes part of the history and lore of the universe. And on top of that,
guys, let me tell you that one statement was I usually say the economy video was the thing that really sold me. This was also one of the things that I went from an Aurora LN to my next ship being a Constellation Aquila. I wanted to name a system. I wanted to name a jump point.
We're going to be dynamically adding
cool
content to these universes. I'm not interested in having yearly updates. We'll have a team of people that are adding content on a weekly, every 2 weeks basis. So you're starting this system and you start in the game and it's
content every 2 weeks. I mean, we kind of get that now.
2 weeks in, a jump point's discovered for another system and someone navigates it and bam, we've got a 51st system and so on.
We get a new PTU
40 star
patch
systems
every week.
For persistent online play upon release. Star Citizen will launch with 50 star systems, 60 star systems, 70 star systems. Star Citizen will launch with 100 star systems.
You got it with only 100.
Again, I don't hold them accountable for this. I kind of hold them accountable for the making the change and it not working out, right? Is not biting off more than they can chew, which is definitely what happened when it came to this. They're gonna chew it eventually, but they've been chewing for so long that the food in their mouth is rotten.
50 or 100, however many systems we have, 100, 150, 150, whatever we end up getting on launch, and we'll grow from there.
I really hope this video isn't like a gotcha with these kind of things, because there's so much more to it than this. I've never seen this. But I remember they made this into like a poster. I think I have the poster somewhere.
There's an atmosphere.
Doctor.
It could sustain life.
Look, it's Elite Dangerous.
Having Large World complete will give us the technology we need to build truly massive star systems that give the player of our game the experience you really expect in a game like Star Citizen.
This right here is one of, I think, the opposite of a gotcha in a lot of ways when it comes to Star Citizen. Is they take so long to make things. This was 2015. that you kind of forget that things exist and you assume that they're going to change and the scope of things are going to change. And they tend, like, if you really, really look, they tend to stick with exactly what they said they were going to do. Even way back in like 2012, some of the major things like the procedural planets that we pointed out kind of ruined some stuff like that. But later on, I'm sure it'll come up in this video when the carrot goes through the jump point. It's almost exactly the same as this like GIF that was on the screen. Right? They kind of stuck to their guns with this, and I think a lot of people would have expected them to change it.
Yeah, don't screw up, because you'll die.
Okay. So,
talk about Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil. You want to talk a little bit about Virgil?
It's only on the art stage right now, so.
He's a stream
Yeah,
sniper.
it's very early for the.
it looks cool. All right, there you
Virgil
go.
art. If you're outside the walls, just kind of cruising around, you could see these gargantuan waves.
That's kind of the plan, is to start one system and move our way out, and we're sort of laying a lot of the groundwork for that. So there you go. That's our plan. That's how we roll them out. Not committing to the specific dates for that though, because I've learned that
you have not learned anything. You've learned nothing, sir. You've literally learned nothing. In 2022, you're still doing the same dumb shit that you're doing in 2015. You've learned nothing.
When I first joined the team a little over a year ago now, the idea was kind of to be designing the first 5 star systems. But what we did not know at that point was how long does it take us to make a single star system. Yeah. So we've shifted our focus from, instead of the first 5 complete star systems, to like the first 5 landing zones.
So once we get those metrics, we can actually calculate, okay, we know this takes this long. If we want 20 systems by this time, we know it'll take this long for us to make. And that'll give us information as like, do we...
See, saying we know this is how long it will take is sort of the, I guess, some of the speech that makes you think that they knew what they were getting themselves into. This was pre-Planet Tech, though, I believe. And maybe they were researching it at this point. I'm not 100% sure. But saying we know how long it will take, well, you clearly didn't, right? So
we need to ramp up.
Who are these people? This was a producer. I don't remember this guy, but he was like one of the main producers that communicated a lot of the 3.0 wait to us. I can't remember his name, though. I think his name was Jake.
More resources or outsource a little bit more.
We'll set up a whole palette.
Oh my God, Tech Jesus.
And an artist should be able to crank out a moon or even a base planet in a day or 2 days themselves. An artist could probably crank out, 5 moons or 6 moons in a week for you. And then finally, 4.0.
What a crock.
So this is which that'll be the first time.
Like, I wonder what he thought the moons were going to be, right? Because what he does is, at that moment, did they, like, were the moons the moon that you saw in the, or the planet that you saw in the Constellation commercial, the Aquila commercial, right? Which is just nothing. And that, or is it, did he get the moon that has nothing and then was like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's make caves. Oh, mining. Oh, this, that, rivers, right? And he just keeps adding to it. At that moment, what was he thinking? This is one of the things. Now, yes, like Reezer's saying in Twitch chat, 2016 was insane. This was where I'm just sitting there and going, you lied. Like, post 2016, I feel they learned their lessons a bit, but in 2016, I felt like I was just straight up being lied to. Like, what are you guys doing with your lives here? What are you thinking? So I do kind of just like ignore that, ignore 2016 as best I can. But I am curious, is like, once he saw what he can get, he kept pushing. And we have what we have now, which I think a lot of us like. Like, for me, I will always say this: what separates Star Citizen from literally any game is you start out as a character, you walk into your ship, you walk through the interior if it has one, and interact with some things in there. Hopefully one day interact with more things. And you sit in your ship, you open the hangar doors, you fly out, and then you can get out of your seat, walk around your ship, get out and land on another planet, walk around and look at that, right? Like you don't really get that with a lot of games at the level that you do with Star Citizen. It's just a matter of them tying a game to that. And I think it's, for me personally, I know that's why I'm still here, is just that experience is second to none, right? So it will always be such a cool game because of that, right? And it's just a matter of them making the game. But yeah, that Tech Jesus clip, I just wonder what he thought the planets would be at that time.
And we'll go beyond Stanton to other star systems. People spend forever, years just making a small 2x2 kilometer level, and obviously for us to build the system, the universe that we need to be a bit faster than that. And so that's the roadmap for Star Citizen.
I don't believe, I've said this before, I don't believe we need more star systems. I think we just need a really polished, finished, fun star, or I guess Stanton.
Our goal is, this is the roadmap going forward over next year. Again, please don't hold me to dates, because everyone goes, why do you say that, Chris? I'm like, oh. Anyway.
Why do you say that, Chris? Yeah, we know why.
It's always best laid plans of mice and men.
He keeps us thinking that something like this will be in the game.
The other thing that we're really focusing on now, which we've had a little bit of a sneak peek about, is creatures.
No offense to any other employee at CIG. I think his name was Chris. He is the coolest dude ever. I will never say anything bad about that guy. That guy was the most genuinely nice person I think I've ever met on this planet, aside from my wife.
So in the future, we're going to be doing all these awesome characters.
This guy
creatures,
was the man.
Worms, as you've seen, insects, alien life forms that are going to fill out these awesome worlds.
Him and his wife were just such nice people.
And with a strong character pipeline in place, any of this is possible.
Our greatest challenge is, like, how do we populate the universe that is the
this guy on the other hand? No, I don't even know who this is.
Of our game with enough content to make it feel alive, right? We have 100 solar systems in the game. We might have 50, we might have 100 space stations. Even if we have 100 space stations, we're looking at 10,000 locations which we have to build. And with the small team we have, 4 level designers, it would take us about 650 years to build that the traditional way.
It's lush. The Asiatic architecture is very famous. The concept art for this planet is completely gorgeous, and I can't wait for you guys to see it when it's finally built in the game.
I remember when I saw this, when it came out, when it was posted.
Are we really taking lore people and applying this to the game? I don't know.
A couple of years ago.
This is a bit of a stretch.
It totally knocked me out. Like, it really, the synth world, this is where the researchers, this is where the people who are building it.
I mean, maybe we should, because these are things that I can't wait to be able to play in a synth world, right? Like, what?
This is where they're stationed. This is where, if you're going to bring in a bunch of ore or minerals or something to help the project, this is where you're going to be dropping it off.
So an incredible amount of work went into coming up with over 100 systems and scientifically vetting them. But now we have all the information, it makes it easier to build them in Solid.
It allows me to make solar systems incredibly quickly. And
oh my God, Gareth, I remember him. He was on the mission team.
One of the more common questions we get is, how are we going to build all these systems? So that, it's a crucial tool in how we're going to do that.
But once that technology was refined and open to the public, what happened? That's right, an era of expansion that led us from this to this.
Wow.
The person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The person who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever seen before.
Guys, I never F5'd for a ship before until this ship.
The unknown is out
This
there.
is the only ship I ever
waiting
F5'd
to be
for.
discovered.
And I F5'd hard.
For those that are looking for those places that no one has seen before, they are faced with a daunting challenge. What do you do when you get there? Allow me to introduce the Pioneer.
So the wormhole kind of idea, that's got to be addressed. So I don't know if that's on the roadmap, and if it isn't, it probably should get there at some point. But we need to get Stanton done first, and then we'll fly out of Stanton. But in terms of core tech, the thing.
I remember this. This was when we all wanted to hear about content, and Jared just thought the content was in.
That wormhole stuff relies on is the object container.
Little did we know that the only content that actually existed in any of these conversations was what Jared was doing.
Streaming, which is very, very busy right now, and definitely represented on the roadmap. The major pieces of tech that we needed for this game are almost there. Really only the object container streaming is one of the biggest ones.
Is a lot of the groundwork done, and it'll be faster to make systems after that?
So yes, that's part of the plan. One of the big pushes we have, because obviously, if you look how long it's taking us to do Stanton, and you figure out how many star systems we have, you know, I want to be alive by the time we get them done. And I think most of our other backers do too. We just don't have enough tools people. We don't have enough engineers. And even though I told you we have 500 people, it's like everyone wants more people, and we don't have enough to get all this stuff done. Yeah, we need to be in a position where we can turn around a moon in a week.
They kind of do. And you hear what he said there that's kind of really interesting is, well, yeah, we have this problem, and the solution to it is getting more engineers, getting more people to work on the game, and they're trying to solve that problem, it seems like now a little bit. But who created that problem? Right? Again, Star Citizen, in the scope in which this man has made it, is a game I absolutely want to play. It's a world I want to play in. It's a universe I want to play in. It is what I want. But, you know, he kind of created this problem.
Not, you know, in 2 months or 3 months.
How fast do you think we'll be able to create a solar system once all the tools are in place for creating them?
So the first proper gold standard landing zone that we're bringing out is Lorville. Once we get through their task list, we can build up the team velocity, so to speak, and then we know how quickly they get through, you know, one landing zone, one space station, and whatnot.
Because every time
they do it much faster now. Like, even though they're redoing Lorville, they're redoing it in the way that, like, I don't think this is a Pepe laugh moment or something that you can make fun of them for whatsoever. I think they've been a lot better with this
we're
stuff.
going to get faster, we're going to get better, we're going to get more efficient at it. So, how long? Less than the one before it.
The point of this
And
presentation.
that's true. You know, it's been quicker each time, I think, and each landing location has been better each time.
Then is to.
I mean, Crusader sucks. I don't like Crusader personally, but the last really good one was Microtech.
Give you a better understanding of how, when the first one's taken
Look who it is, guys. He's not on the milk
so
carton
long,
anymore.
we're aiming to kick things into overdrive so that we can deliver new systems much more quickly.
Ah, there it is. See? They took that concept from 2015 and basically stuck to it almost exclusively.
We are going to have the pyro system next year. Obviously,
we are going to have the pyro system next year.
That brings in jump.
God, 2020
points. It's pretty damn exciting. It's kind of coming together.
As we showed at CitizenCon end of last year, we showed that first sneak peek to what Pyro could be. So as myself and as a team, we're all...
That was a lie. I mean, as much as it feels that way, I mean, are we really going to do that when everybody went work from home at a video game company and nobody knew what was going on in the world? Like, come on. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for them given the situation that we're still in now. But come on, guys. It was 2020.
Quite excited about starting that process. But before then...
I don't think we were going to get it in 2020 either when he said that. But at the same time, I do... Like, don't you just sit there and wonder if that never happened, what would have happened? And I think that you could go either way with that comment and be like, you know, I wonder what would have happened there. And I'm not just going to sit here and defend these guys. Like, God, I mean, they have countless things of just looking so stupid for so many years and saying so many dumb things. But I always do look back and I just like, how would we all be? What would we be doing? I think every one of our lives would be different in some way.
We want to close out these last 3 moons in Stanton. So that time is a factor because I'm getting pushed by my boss, Chris, to start on this new system.
As with previous updates, the new tool doesn't just get us a better looking brush of terrain, it's also faster and more efficient to use than ever before. Important advancements necessary to finish off the planets and moons of the upcoming Pyro system and beyond.
I don't know when we get Aaron's
Outlaw
Space stations are a big feature of the upcoming Pyro system.
This ship is something else, huh?
What?
I mean, supposedly it basically becomes your own personal space station. Imagine just taking this thing out as far as you can, dropping anchor and just living. I mean, that's it, Jimmy. The Whitleys just got their hands on an Odyssey prototype. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I borrowed it, you know, for a little sabbatical someplace. I don't know, like the Pyro system.
Pyro 4. Storms have been raging for ages. You can't get a ship down there. Turbulence is too much. Visibility is completely shot. The people in the base, they've got their anti-air set up as well.
And this was such a load of BS.
And suddenly they're hearing the rumbling of tire moving across the hillside.
As Star Citizen evolves and the systems get larger and more of them come online,
players will first see this next year when the first iteration of server meshing goes live with the introduction of the Pyro system. Between Q3 and Q4 of next year.
Oh, that was 2021.
Yeah, we're on the road to Pyro this year, and you can expect to see lots more as 2022 progresses.
As we keep delving further and further into others.
Okay. Here's why I think this video is not well put together and why I'm a little frustrated with it. At no point did he show the switch from where we are now to the procedural planets. He didn't show People to Planet. He didn't show the 2016 Gamescom. He didn't show the 2016 CitizenCon. He didn't show the shift. So he makes it seem like 100 star systems is still a thing that is a viable thing that they're trying to do now. And it is 100% not something that they're doing. Right? And there is, you know, you could copium all you want. There's context that's left out here is that they made a shift. I think it's very clear to anybody who's followed the project that this is not the original star systems and the original landing zones the way they would be is not the way it is anymore. So everything will clearly take longer.
Solar systems, we do not want to create this game.
Yeah, 100's still the goal, but also like literally never finishing the game is also
thing
still
where
the goal.
There's always fuel for everything. There's always everything you need.
So now as we're on the verge of getting into more lawless systems like Pyro, I think multi-role is a great advantage to have because you don't know what's lurking around the corner and you'll be able to react to whatever comes at you.
You could take, you could take that any way you want, but you guys are always, you know, you guys are always going to take it on the negative or the gotcha side with them. And it's like we didn't agree to make procedural planets. I really don't believe that's, you know, that's not what I wanted the game to necessarily, it didn't need to be that for me. Now that we have them, I said it earlier, I mean, man, it's what separates Star Citizen from a lot of other things is that the way you interact with the game, right? In the ship, out of the ship, everything is kind of seamless and really, really smooth, and it just feels right. But you definitely lose the exploration. You lose all these star systems and the lore in them. You lose the ability to get the game quicker and get the game that we all were hoping to play if you backed way back when. A lot of the things they said are really, really stupid. I'm just saying that this video is leaving some serious context and a serious shift in direction completely out.
Installation's big brother, the RSI Galaxy.
We are aiming to put static server meshing and Pyro into the hands of players in the fourth quarter of 2023.
So anyone who comes up to you claiming that they have a good deal on a land deed for Callus probably also has a really good collection of snake oil they'd like to show you.
That's actually kind of funny at the end because, yeah, I mean, the entire game is probably snake oil, which is pretty funny. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that there's missing context here. There's a lot of things to look back at and laugh at, and there are some things that I think we all kind of know what changed and why it changed and why we're in the boat that we're in. And it's Mr. Chris adding and adding and adding and adding and making it more and more complicated until you have a problem that is incredibly difficult to solve. And here we are. So I am of the idea that if we only ever had Stanton, that we could still have a really fun game. We wouldn't have Star Citizen, but we could still have a really fun game if they delivered content to Stanton as far as gameplay content goes. I am not of the idea that we need 100 star systems in order for Star Citizen to feel released. It will need that, Jian maybe and Banu, and we'll need that kind of stuff a little bit so you can feel like you're living in the Star Citizen universe, right? Like systems that have aliens and other experiences, maybe. I don't know how to say it, but I don't think we need 100 of them for the game to be the game I backed, right? So given the change that they made and how kind of exciting the game feels still, I could play both Star Citizen with 5 to 10 systems or Freelancer 2, which was the original Star Citizen pitch, with 100. It's kind of like, what would you choose, right? And that's, I'd still probably lean towards Star Citizen with 5 to 10 systems, although I would really have a lot of fun playing Freelancer 2 in the meantime while I'm waiting for that one, right? So, but that was System Failure. Good video. I just think it is really missing that one little bit of context, which was the just 180 complete change of the entire game by making the planets fully explorable.